And good waves. That's what we've got on offer today. For the third round, Wiggolly Dantas, the Brazilian. The goofy footer will be out there in the red. He's up against the current world number 3, Kolohe Andino, who kicked off the year with a runner-up finish on the Gold Coast.
I agree. You know, his form right now is really tight. Look at that. Wow, that was cool, Ronnie. Kolohe staring at Wiggolly as he took off. That was some old school tactics right there. Martin Potter would have loved that. Wiggolly didn't buckle, of course. Kind of a tricky wave, fast, a bit of a closeout. So it's just going to keep the score pretty low, but decent from Wiggolly.
You know, I think it's really about countering this Brazilian movement as well. You know, the Brazilians are obviously very patriotic, but Kolohe doing it for himself, doing it for his country, and taking off here, trying to get an answer to Wiggolly's 4-point ride. Tries one of those tricky reverses that Kolohe so often is able to execute, but he can't stick this one.
Good to be in the next round finally.
And obviously maybe your perception of Margaret River changing a little bit. I know last year losing out in the second round and now advancing into round 4, starting to gain that momentum.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I was looking for this event, and as I said, have to be calm, you know, when I need, and I'm feeling that I'm needing to make some more hits and just be, I don't know, just try to be focused and go as fast as I can.
All right, Gabriel, well, congrats on a job well done.
I think for him, maybe he lacked a little bit of that going into each heat. It's tough to stay that laser sharp every single heat, especially at this point on tour these days. Everyone's going to throw some big numbers at you.
Well, this is Kolohe looking to drop his best number so far. At a 2.5 on his first wave. Wiggolly taking the lead, but no major scores just yet. 22.5 minutes remaining.
But hasn't been a lot of big classic sets come in through here in the last 10-15 minutes, so the guy's just trying to stay busy.
Scores coming through for Andino on his first wave there, or second wave I should say, a 4.33. Had a 2.5 earlier on. Wiggolly's in second spot, chasing the 2.84. He fell out of the draw early, a second round exit. So that number 2 spot is up for grabs, and Kolohe's not too far behind. But he might need to get himself through this heat to get there. He goes for a huge backhand float, and that wind just disengaging Kolohe from his equipment.
Very hard to time. They go from deep water, and he'll hit a shelf and then suddenly break. And see how that wave was fat and all of a sudden it dumped. So your timing has to be so on point. You have to be really have quick reflexes. We'll see how he does that though. You know, trying to, obviously that's a lot of balance.
18.5 minutes to go as Kolohe looks left again, driving off the bottom into this first section. Whipping out of the pocket. This wave's going to get away from him. I saw Mike Parsons and Kolohe watching the conditions really closely.
It looks like brother spotted himself a little one.
Well, let's see what he can do. You know he's going to load up for an air here, and he takes to the sky. Big alley-oop. He's going to stick that, and he's going to add some more points here on the inside. A clean floater. This is without priority. And bashes the lip one more time, just as predicted. Andino has that ace up his sleeve and lands one of the better airs of the comp so far.
So powerful when you can pull out a big score out of a really crummy wave. I mean, that not everyone can do that. So amazing for Kolohe Andino to be able to get that done. It looks like brother spotted himself a little one.
Well, let's see what he can do. You know he's going to load up for an air here, and he takes to the sky. Big alley-oop. He's going to stick that, and he's going to add some more points here on the inside. A clean floater. This is without priority. And bashes the lip one more time, just as predicted. Andino has that ace up his sleeve and lands one of the better airs of the comp so far.
So powerful when you can pull out a big score out of a really crummy wave. I mean, that not everyone can do that. So amazing for Kolohe Andino to be able to get that done, because you do still need things to cooperate. Even though it's a smaller wave, you need that ramp. And it wasn't really the best ramp ever. That's why he went to the alley-oop. Watch him kick that tail the opposite way. We see reverses so much. But that was very smooth. He absolutely greased that landing. The judges will appreciate that. He took zero time to recover. Had a lot of height, a lot of pop. This slow-mo is going to look really cool, Ron. Again, watch the exact opposite of the typical reverse. He's going to snap that tail towards the beach the other way from the bottom. So right here, he made the decision, this ramp is funky, I'm going to go for the alley-oop. There he kicks that tail the other way and spins around, and I love how the new generation, all the guys that are really good at airs, they get their upper body out of the way so that they can keep that spin going with ease. A lot of the older guys that aren't good at airs, they kind of look weird at the top. Their upper body kind of hinders them. Very cool air there from Brother, and then he finished the wave off.
Straight into a bottom turn. Let go of a couple more moves. The score is in 9.83. The judges loving the high-flying antics. Let's check in with Pete Mel and find out.
Well, he's been really focusing on catching quality waves and being patient and slowing down his pace a little bit. Sometimes he can be a little too frantic and ride a few too many waves, whereas he's trying to slow it down and wind up on the really good waves, kind of take a page out of Nat Young's book or Ace Buchan or those types of guys. If he can have that mix with that kind of firepower, that's kind of the balance. So he's been working on that. His first heat, he only rode 3 waves, and they were all really good scores. So he's been focusing a lot on the ocean and what waves are scoreable waves. And I think if he can do that and find that balance, you know, obviously he's got the talent to do incredibly well.
Well, again, but adjustments. I mean, in this one, it's been a bit slow, not a lot of sets. The wind is lightened up. So, I mean, he's obviously making those adjustments well, too.
Pointing in the perfect direction to make sure the wind stuck his equipment to his feet. But this will be Wiggolly's response. Drives off the bottom, really clean combo there as he just bangs away at this wave. He needs a 2-wave total of 14.17. He should break combination with this rod.
I mean, obviously he's in backupville. He just needs to get something better than that 4.3. But I think for him, don't get mixed up in the numbers. Pretend he's still up against it with Mother Nature and look for a great wave. As we see, kind of like how that wind turned on a little bit for Wiggolly. That was good for him, just to expose that spray that he loves to chuck. But for Kolohe, you know, he really needs to focus on the water right now and make sure he gets another quality wave.
6.5 for Wiggolly. He's now chasing a 7.67, taking off here, looking left. That wave clamps up. You can see the reef, the water drawing off that reef as Andino drives up into the lip on that first turn. Didn't really connect the way he would have liked. Throws down a slash. Not sure that's going to be better than a 4.33. Just under 7 minutes remaining. And we'll see how that number comes through in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll queue up a replay of that alley-oop again for you shortly, but right now we've got Wiggolly chasing down an 8.24 first turn. Not too bad. Needing more though on this ride. The wave is starting to give up on Wiggolly, but he's going to fight it for one more backhand carve. 3.5 minutes to go. How did you feel about that ride, Ross?
Yeah, I'm with you. That didn't feel like an excellent ride, so now he's going to really be up against it. And keep in mind, Kolohe, you know, he's still holding on to a meager score, so it's not looking good for Wiggolly, but Kolohe's still got to finish it off. Not to mention, Kolohe set a really crazy tone in his heat with that aggressive air. Now the judges are going to be on alert. You know what I mean? Once you do something like that, you know, you're just taking control of the heat. You're showing to the judges, you know, I'm taking matters into my own hands. And again, we just talked about how Kolohe is, you know, responsible for some of the best airs ever in a contest, and how can you argue against it when you see that reverse, or sorry, that alley-oop? That was big. But that's what Wiggolly does right here. Classic power surfing, throwing a lot of spray, but I will say the conditions not really conducive for, you know, that typical heat win he would have over someone like Kolohe Andino.
Andino, the danger for Kolohe is not putting up a strong enough backup, and at this point he's only hanging on to a 4.9, and that means Wiggolly, he isn't comboed, he's chasing an 8.24. The bar is set high, but that's an achievable number.
The good news here for Wiggolly is there's a handful of lines approaching the lineup, so he should get a crack at it.
Taking off now, but Andino has priority, and he puts it to use. So really looking to improve on a 4.9 here. Nice slash and turn. Digs in over the rocks there and gets out. 1 minute, 20 seconds to go.
That is very true.
There's set lines coming too. Have a look at that. As the judges check the replay of Kolohe's last ride. Is it better than a 4.9? Is it going to make the job even tougher for Wiggolly?
I believe it is. I didn't mind it. You know, it definitely wasn't perfect. You know, it was kind of a weird wave, and he caught just a couple of little edges, but there it is, Ronnie. So that's pretty tough for Wiggolly.
6.27. And Dantas now chasing a 9.61 as Kolohe makes his way in. Wiggolly is going to take off. This is his last shot at it. A huge number required. Just a clean carving slice off the top to get started. Arcs through the second move and bogs down on a lumpy piece of flat water before the end section, and Wiggolly will be knocked out of the contest there. The frustration on show.